decoded reviews on books and essays on technology and society YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing an article titled Smartphone Gambling is a Disaster. It was written by Jonathan D. Cohen and Isaac Rose Berman. And this article can be found published on Jonathan Haidt's substack After Babel. On the screen, you'll see a URL to the article, and I encourage you to go there and read the article for yourself. In today's video, I'm going to discuss 3 key ideas from the article. So let's get started. My first key point or takeaway is that smartphone gambling has now become almost completely frictionless. In the past, people used to have to travel some distance to either Las Vegas or Atlantic City, or at least across the state to a casino. But now, just about anybody can do gambling from their smartphone or from their computer, sitting in the comfort of their home. This makes gambling quite a bit easy and removes some of the friction that used to keep people from gambling too much. Another reason that gambling has become frictionless is that when you used to gamble at a casino, it took some work. You had to bring cash with you. You had to cash in your cash for chips. You had to place bets down. You had to push a handle or pull a handle on a slot machine. Now all you have to do is click a button on your phone or press one on your computer. And then another reason that sports gambling is frictionless is that you can now gamble online 24/7, 7 days a week, and you can bet on everything from wins and losses in games down to individual activities or specific actions, such as, is the next pitch going to be a ball or a strike? Is the next punt going to be returned, or is it going to be fair caught? Those kinds of things, which increases the number of bets a person can place and increases the chances that they're going to lose money. A second key takeaway from the article is that gambling companies are now spending quite heavily on ads, especially since the advent of sports gambling. With sports gambling, you can now hire a sports celebrity to do your advertising, and that becomes especially receptive for young people who idolize these sports heroes. So much so that now sports betting has become a serious problem in high schools, with many high school teachers and principals reporting that 100% of their male students are betting on sports. And that just seems way, way too high. So my third key takeaway, and an emphasis that the article writers made, is that policymakers, parents, and teachers must act, and they must act now, to try to rein in some of this online gambling, especially with young people. First thing that has to happen is states need to ban all online casino games. As I said, these games can go on 24/7, but another crazy aspect is that you can actually be placing bets without actually being at your phone or on your computer. So you can kind of just set it to automatic and have your phone just continually make bets while you sleep or eat dinner or do something else. Another aspect is that parents need to start talking about gambling early, just like they do with drugs, alcohol, and they either need to ban it from their home, ban their kids from using it, or if they're going to allow gambling, to do it with their children so that the children can understand how gambling, if it's going to happen, needs to happen in a responsible way. And then finally, for those young adults who are out of the home and on their own, they need to understand and follow a lot of the well-known rules for keeping their gambling under control, such as only taking a set amount of money to the casino or betting a certain amount, and then not going beyond that if they use all the money up. And also another thing they can do is pocket winnings and only bet with the base money that they brought with them. Or in other words, since they're not going to a casino, you can see that I'm so used to just going to a casino to bet. If they're not going to casino, you're going to say, well, I'm only going to bet $50 today, and if I lose it all, then I'm going to stop. It's when you keep going more and more into the hole that gambling becomes a financial problem, and at that point, it's probably also an addiction problem. So these are my 3 key takeaways from this article: that online gambling has become frictionless. The gambling companies are hiring celebrities, and that's enticing young people into their sites, and that we need to curtail this now, this year, and to do that, policymakers, parents, and teachers must act. So thanks a lot for viewing, and if you're enjoying the content from our reviews, please like and subscribe. And finally, I'd like to thank SlidesGo for providing the template for this presentation. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.